Today marks 1526 day of daily lessons, daily reflections. And today I speak about the same topic as yesterday about relationships, but now from the negative perspective. Yesterday I was sharing about the positive things, what the relationships should bring to your life. And today focus on what relationships you're not supposed to bring into life. Totally different thing because I think that we need to understand what we're looking for and what we do not like. Sometimes we know what we don't like, but we do not know what we need, and sometimes it's vice versa. But I think that it's extremely important to know what you like and what you don't like. At that moment, when you really see people when they are in your life, you understand, okay, this person is bringing something that I don't like, or this person is not bringing what I like. And today, right before really recording this reflection, I read the quote that I really found it very, very interesting, and it's that sometimes letting people go and staying alone is an upgrade. I might be that I don't say exactly what the quote said, but the idea that I really love that sometimes staying alone and letting someone go is an upgrade. And it makes sense because if this person that you are having a relationship is draining your energy, that means when you stop spending time with that person, he stops or she stops draining your energy. That's for sure is upgrade. Now you're at least able to be neutral, and you can choose when to energize yourself, when to drain yourself, when to whatever to do. And it's extremely important to really look into the things what relation not supposed to bring into your life. So today I'll share probably like 10 things that we're able to reflect on, because for sure the way how we express those things is not will not be perfect. Like those something that I'm still learning and improving, and I'm trying to really understand, because I to be honest, was this is one of my blind spots. I never understood how to look for the bad things because I'm generally always looking for good things. I always say that my strength is seeing strengths in people, and my weakness is seeing other people weakness. And this is extremely my weakness. So that means this is something that I need to develop. Understand that if someone is bringing something, and being able to really notice that. So number one is emotional isolation. And it's interesting that being connected on paper, but really being emotional alone over time, that unseen. Because one thing is that you can be with one person physically in one room, but you can tell somebody that you're not emotionally there. You're not connected emotionally. Even if you can go like in a coffee shop, and I'm against having phones when you have a conversation with anyone, with your best friend, with your significant other. It doesn't matter, because I really love this. I learned from Simon Sinek, but I truly believe that is that when you have a phone, what it means is that your presence is not as important that my things on my phone. It may be someone else, maybe someone else, reel or Instagram or whatever it could be, but it shows a sense of message that even though that physically here, my emotions is connected to something else. And again, this is leads to that you are physically connected but emotionally unseen. Number two is erosion of self-trust. That means that when you have a friend, we're able to ask, okay, what does he bring? Does it bring criticism, minimization, dismissal, invalidation? That means when you share something, what they what kind of tendency do they have? Do they have a criticize? Do they have minimize the things that you're going through? Because of course, when you think about normalization, that's all fine. That's like that. But if you are looking to minimize the damage that things could create in your life, I think that that's something you just could say that oh, this is just you're making a mistake. Or I think that's when you think about that, when you really have a conversation with a person and you're able to ask it, is this person, is it really increasing my self-trust or decreasing? Because sometimes when you know exactly who you are and who you want to become, and you share what you're working on, and they minimize your abilities or who you are and bringing who you are rather than what you want to be, that's destroying your self-trust. I think we need to really be able to really have relations in life that really allows a push towards becoming the version of that you want to become rather than keeping where you are right now. Number three is walking on eggshells. That means that this is extremely important, but very easy to understand is that when you share something with them about them specifically, how do they react to it? When you come up with care and understanding and really want to understand, do they come with attack when you share something that is important about them and you want them to improve and get better? Do they maybe even attack you? Or maybe they're not able to really accept anything? And maybe that honesty leads to attack, withdrawal, punishment, and whatever it is. But I think that this is extremely important to understand that we need to have ability to share. Ability, or sometimes even the walking on eggshells means that you do not know what kind of version of that person will show up that day. It will be a good version of them, the bad version of them. So when you're going to meet, you already have that tightness, and you just thinking, oh, what kind of version of person I will meet today. I think that's not how it's supposed to be, because again, that anticipation of bad things to come leads to drainage of the energy, and it's not worth it. Next one is it withholding connection. And I think that it's not about physical again. This is partly again disconnected with the phone. Um, Small thing that's rather than giving attention to you, that warmth, interest, and understanding, they put that attention to something else. They're not responsive. They're not present. And again, this is basically seeking connection with a person. You want to really build that strong connection, nurture that relationship, but that person is investing attention and focus and warmth to something else. Because it's again, the relationship is mostly mutual. I mean, if one person is trying to connect, another person is trying to really not tr- not trying to disconnect, but keeping where things are. And that's again, will holding the connection. Next one is emotional invalidation. And what it means is that it might be that you're sharing some kind of emotions. A neighbor said, you are too sensitive, it's not that serious, you're acting childish. And the thing that I never believe in saying that you're acting childish. I think that we live a short life, and I think that we always will be children. I think that what's the most important part is how you respond and how you react and how you execute when it's necessary, when it's important. Because if you really do the right thing when it's matter, when it doesn't matter, you can be childish. That's what I believe in, and that's I will probably believe it all my life. I believe with all my heart that we need to be childish, we need to be joyful, we need to be uh, um, bring a lot of laughter. We need to bring silliness. That's why I always will be childish, and then at the points when it doesn't matter, we need to choose a balance. And when the balance is not important in a bigger scheme, why not to be childish? Why not to be silly? Why not to laugh and enjoy our day? And I think that that's again emotional validation is partly as well. Like, we need to understand that our emotions are valid. Our emotions, this is how we feel. It doesn't matter where that came from. We need to understand how to really go through them. But if you invalidate it, if you deny the emotion, you will not be able to go through it. That's again, if you have a relationship where you feel invalidated emotionally, that means that relationship doesn't help you to go through the emotions that you need to go through. Next one is imbalanced emotional labor. So that means that one person always provides care, understanding, patience, support, listening, air, while receiving very, very little in return. So what the other person could receive, again, physical appearance, and physical appearance is not the same as emotional appearance. And this is again quite they are intertwined a little bit, and that imbalanced emotional labor means that you are here to really understand where they're coming from, but when you really want to feel understood and heard, and I really love the saying that Being heard feels almost like feeling loved. And that's why it's such an important feeling. But if you don't experience that, if that imbalanced emotional labor leads to feel not heard, that means that this relationship is not benefiting you at all. Next one is avoidance instead repair. That means that when something is going on, like every single relationship will have a bad day. That's given. There's no walking away from that. But I think that we need to understand that like those how we react to those bad days. Are we avoid them? Are we discuss for them? Do we discuss our expectations? I really love from Jordan B. Patterson when he said about conflicts. When we go through conflicts, we always need to ask what do we want out of it? Like what we are seeking. Because I think the worst part is when we have expectations, but we don't know what kind of expectations. I want different. What different? What that means different. So it means we're not able to hit the goal when you don't know what's the goal. And I'm being able to really understand because avoidance is like saying like I want different, but they are not able to really discuss what that different is. Of course, that is the draining. That is extremely draining. And I think that sometimes people could even weaponize those small conflicts if they're not able to address at the time when this need to be addressed. Next one is loss of physiological or it's difficult word for me still like sometimes it's difficult to pronounce the words but physiological safety again this will be difficult to pronounce today my mouth is not working today but I think that when we able to say that I'm not safe emotionally physically or whatever it is it could be that do I feel safety that means that when I share when I share vulnerable my experiences, my feelings, my emotions, everything what I'm going through, did they receive ridicule, defensiveness, anger, or do I feel that they try to really understand me? Because I think that when you really share some of your weaknesses, vulnerable parts of you, and you now sometimes even could people use that in the future as a attack. Oh, you remember you said this and this and this? And laugh and use as a radical thing rather than use as a secret that is supposed to honor because that is an amazing part of relation when someone shares something vulnerable to you. Supposed to be extremely grateful for that information rather than using to weaponize it during the bad days when you have a conflict. So that leads to that when you don't feel safe. And again, this is a massive drainage in relationships. Number nine is stalled growth. Again, that's an extremely bad thing that brings toxic relations is when people expect you to stay the same and they question it. Why do you need to do this? Why do you need to grow? Why? So that means they're stopping your emotion development, your curiosity, your healthy desire to change is discouraged. And again, it's toxic relation. That's what it brings. They want you to keep where you are rather than to see you developing. Because I think that one of the biggest thing that I learned as well that your development, your development and you getting better challenges their own beliefs about themselves and they feel uncomfortable not changing. Because sometimes they could feel even left behind. They don't want to be left behind. If you're not moving forward, that means they will be okay staying there. So of course, sometimes people just stall your growth just because they just don't want to move them by themselves, and you don't feel bad about it. A last one, number 10, is that quiet grief, and this is very interesting one. It means that when you feel that you lost, you're mourning the relation that could have been that you mourning the version of you that could be developed within a year or 2 years or 5 years that you have a relation with this person because if you think about the stalled growth, it means that you already wasted potential months or years with this person who was discouraging you from really getting better and improving, that means, of course, there will be some kind of grief of potential loss. But again, this is again, we need to really discuss those ideas. Okay, what is what is relation, what kind of things does it bring that is a red flags? That is, yesterday I shared that analogy with soccer. When in a game people get yellow flag and then second yellow flag, you get kicked out of the game. And I think that those are those 10 things are those yellow flags. When the person gets yellow flag one time, second time, okay, it's time for this person to go. That's the rules of the game. That's the rules of the game of having a true friend, a true significant other who is bringing joy, bliss, and growth rather than stalling everything in your life. Because we're able to look into your life and ask, okay, because of this person, how is my all areas like? How my finances look like? How my emotions look like? How my mentality looks like? How my physical health looks like? Because you can tell us sometimes that a person could destroy all of them, or sometimes could improve all of them as well. So knowing where people stand, I think that is extremely important. Because as I started today with today's lesson, the reflection is that sometimes letting people go is an upgrade, and such a powerful statement. Such a powerful statement. And I hope that you will reflect on that and really review what kind of friends and people you have around right now and really rate them 1 to 10. Are they neutral? Are they drainage? Or are they uplifting you to become the person that you always wanted to be? So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.